Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Plocast Podcast. Today is episode 4, 5, 3. I don't actually remember. The last one hasn't even been posted yet when we're recording this. But today is going to be, I was going to say fun, but it's probably not going to be fun. Today we're going to be talking about the Mandalorian Season 3. Basically just our thoughts now that the season is concluded, wrapped up. What we liked, what we didn't like, stuff like that. You're probably also going to see some other footage from other recordings slipped in here, just when it's relevant. Because we have, for the finale at least, we did go on another rant in that reaction. So I might put some of that footage in here. There's also some footage of us, talking about the season in further detail after that episode. But yeah, we'll start off. I think we should get this bad stuff out of the way, and then we can wrap it up nice and happy. You know what I mean?
I like that.
Just to give it a positive send off. Yeah, straight up, I'm gonna. Not that this is like a hot take. I don't really know what people are saying. But this is easily the worst season of The Mandalorian by far. It's not even close. It's just the worst season of The Mandalorian. Now, there is only 3, but the first 2 were so good that to see such a decline like this is rather disappointing. But yeah, what would you say if you had to pick like one big flaw that you could kind of wrap everything into for this season? What would you say it is?
Yeah, I just felt that, and I know I'm not alone, that the story this season was a letdown. Like, it wasn't close, like you're saying, to the same stories as 1 and 2, which is weird because a lot more happens, on paper, sure. I guess. We Din gets redeemed. We go back to Mandalore. They retake Mandalore. And then Moff Gideon comes back, and then they also defeat Moff Gideon, which is like way more than what happens in season 1 and 2, but it just felt so watered down. Felt like I don't know if I'm using this term correctly, jumping the shark, where you just become like a sort of, you're just a show that like is a shell of itself. Like, it's like you're just making episodes to put them out. It didn't feel like there obviously was direction, like we had a story, but it didn't feel purposeful. It didn't feel like we were, I don't know. It felt like we were on, it felt like we were pedaling a bike, but it was a Peloton. Like, we weren't going anywhere, we were still doing stuff, still exercising. But season 1 and 2, dude, we're taking that bike through the mountains. We're getting awesome things. Yeah. We're doing great things. We're feeling the air against our skin. It felt great. It felt Star Wars. It felt new, fresh, fun. This episode, it feels like I'm sitting there in my basement on a Peloton watching outdoors through a screen, right? It just felt distant from season 1 and 2. And I think it comes from the story and the writing. Because, like, it looks awesome. That's no joke, or no question, I mean. The action is top-notch. It's probably best here just because there's so many large set pieces. Music, I think, was a little not as good, but it's still like A tier. Like, it's still fabulous. Set design, everything looks and feels like, it still sounds everything like Star Wars, but like it just is missing something, that little something. And like, I think that comes from the writing. Yeah. That's where I'm trying to, I don't know because I'm not a writer.
Yeah, me neither.
But like, it's a noticeable loss of something, and I'm thinking it's that. I'm thinking it's just, we're just, let's do cool stuff instead of, no, let's write a cool story, and then cool stuff will naturally fall around it. It was more like they used the big action set pieces, or they didn't use them. They just got there instead of using them to get somewhere important. Yeah. If that makes any sense.
No,
I'll let you speak a little more to it. Hopefully a little better than okay.
It's like, it's hard to look at it as like a real show anymore. Like, it's just like a Disney things happening, soft brain, like click.
I'm gonna look up the term jump the shark. It says, to reach a point where something or a show stops becoming more popular or starts to decrease in quality. So I don't know if I use it correctly. I think it's where you're going so long that like you run out of ideas and then you just decrease. But this
Yeah.
like it hasn't been going long, but it definitely seems like it ran out of cool stuff. Like
What's
I don't, but yeah, I
weird
didn't mean to
is
interrupt. I didn't
no,
mean
yeah,
to.
no, that you're good. What's weird with that is like it does feel like they ran out of ideas, but
Yeah, they obviously didn't.
there have definitely were ideas that they could have done to make it very interesting. Some
Hmm.
things when they run out of ideas, they run out of ideas and it's time to end. Look at the last two seasons of The Office. They were just out of ideas. They were just throwing random stuff at the wall to see what
Yeah.
worked. It's time to shut it
That's a
down. We're done.
that's a good
Okay.
example.
Mando, there was only two seasons. There's a lot more out there that they could have gone through, which
Yeah.
we'll talk about later when we talk about, I guess, like what could change or our ideas for the seasons or whatever.
There's a lot more to talk
Yeah,
about.
but like it doesn't feel like there's any writing anymore. Like things just
Mhm.
happen. Like I can't remember like a single line of dialogue from the finale or like a character motivation. Like they just were there
Yeah.
and they were just doing things, which is just like I don't even know. Um, what my one of my biggest issues in that, I guess like a subcategory of that, is like Din Djarin is like nothing anymore. He's just a
Yeah.
blank, like nobody. He this season he does like absolutely nothing that is like of his own decision other than like going to Mandalore. Everything else he does is in reaction to someone else. Oh, the armor wants me to do this, or Paz says this, or Bo-Katan is like this,
Hmm.
and we're gonna go to Mandalore. Like he never like does anything where he is the one making the everything he does is just a response to somebody else, which I think is kind of ridiculous for your protagonist, quote unquote protagonist now, because apparently they've changed that
That's
without telling
crazy to me
anybody until
still.
just now.
Yeah.
Um, but like he doesn't he never and if anything, his character has regressed from seasons 1 and 2. Let's think of all of the plot points or the character beats or whatever from the first two seasons. He hates droids, but he learns to like them because IG-11 sacrificed himself. He both seasons lead towards him leaving this group of Mandalorians so he can take Grogu and be out on his own and realize that there's more to the galaxy than this. Blah blah blah. All of that. Like those
Hmm.
are the two of the biggest character points for Din Djarin. Like and also the like the letting go of Grogu and all that because he has to be with his people or whatever. All of that is reversed in the third
Yeah.
season. There's like he has like MCU one-liners about droids again and how he still kind of doesn't
Yeah.
trust them like with the super battle droids. Like that's what he would have done in like season 1 maybe. I guess it's a little different because the super battle droids are literally the ones that I think were there that killed his family.
They
But
were literally the ones. Yeah.
and like but like R5 he doesn't want R5 at all. Like why wouldn't
Yep.
he now be to the point where he could accept that, you would think. And then all this stuff like taking off his helmet right at the end of season 2 was a big moment for his character, not just because oh it's for Grogu but the other people in the room. He intentionally did that knowing that he wouldn't that it would mean he's not a part of the children of the watch anymore. And then immediately in the third season, his goal is, oh no, I gotta undo that. That was stupid. I don't want to do like. Why are we going backwards with his character? He feels like a lot more bland now. Like
Hmm.
he's just like they can just shove him in stuff now, and it's like, hey guys, Mando's there, and which sucks because before there was a really kind of you I don't want to say unique, but unique for Star Wars kind of character who's like um this like unexpected father in the and like he's stuck by his ways and he learns to all that cool that stuff that made the first especially the first season, and then season 2 kind of was more plot than that, but that was what I thought was made him so interesting. And it was weird how this season they just not only did they stop progressing him, they backtracked on the things that they had already done to give us like a bland, just like mush version of Djarin from the first 2 seasons. That it felt like that. Not uncanny, but it was a strange feeling because like
Yeah.
I didn't really care about him for most of the season. Like even when he got captured, I was like, ah, dang, they're gonna rescue him, I guess now. You know what I mean? So like that was a big one for me. Is the main character is not like he just didn't do anything at all besides like the first episode. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's weird.
Absolutely, absolutely. And not even that he didn't do anything. And you already said this. It's that everything just gets undone.
Yeah,
So everything he already did kind of really doesn't matter.
yeah,
And this was a large problem with the Boba Fett show, where he just kind of had stuff happen to him. Funny enough, Din was usually the one doing stuff to him, but now Din's the one getting done to. But the point is, like, this was an identifiable problem a year ago or whenever Boba Fett came out, and now it's the same exact thing. So that, which I think is like just points to the fact that these are just cookie cutter stuff. They aren't thinking through the writing. They aren't thinking through like what direction do we want to take this character. It's more like what are the cool scenes we get to do and just pick them up and pluck them in it. Who cares? We'll do the story after. And it felt like that with Boba. It was like, what can we do that's cool in Boba? Have him ride a Rancor. Okay, how do we do that? Just pick him up, pluck him in here, and then we'll make a show. And that's how it felt like. And then this episode, or this season of Mandalorian, it felt like to me, well, what do we want to do? Let's reclaim Mandalore and have Moff Gideon come back. Well, how can we make that make sense? I don't know. Just pick up Mando and throw him in. We'll see how the pieces fall. Who cares? It's more about doing the cool things that will get us popular on Twitter for a week, and then people will forget about it until we do the same thing next season.
yeah.
Which stinks, dude. I remember season 1. It was so fun because it was different. It was new. No one was calling it like a new Star Wars thing or like a Mandalorian. Everyone kept saying, and I remember this, space Western, right? Everyone kept saying like, oh my goodness, it's almost a whole new genre. It's ambitious. It's fun. It's in the Star Wars universe, which gives us this established heritage to play off of, but it's its own thing. It's space Western. Everyone kept saying that. I feel like, are we forgetting that? This didn't feel like that at all.
Yeah.
This felt like a Marvel show with a Star Wars skin on it. It didn't feel like space Western at all. Season 1, for sure, it was the epitome of that. Season 2, they opened up their horizons. They're like, let's dive into Star Wars a little more. And I'm okay with that. It's fine to do that for one season if you narrow back in. But now, like, it's not even close. If they went season 4 right back to it, it would feel worse. Like they've already gone too far almost. And it seems like they're going to go further. They're talking about the Mandalorian isn't Djarin. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy to me. That's crazy. I think there's no way of knowing. I think it's literally Disney. I know people point the finger at Kathleen Kennedy all the time. Whoever it is, I think it's just some executives making these shots. I don't think this was ever the plan. A lifetime friend of the show, Wayne G, pointed out that likely they didn't expect Grogu to be so popular. So when they wrote him out of the show, Disney executives probably just said, no. Rewrite everything until Grogu gets in a mecha suit and we can sell Grogu mecha suit toys.
Rewrite Boba Fett too, so we can get him back sooner.
Rewrites. Yep. We need this. That's our moneymaker. I think that's like almost for sure what's happened. There's no way of knowing, but that's what it feels like. That's what they're communicating to me. There's not really a plan. We're just doing stuff to have Grogu in it and do Mando cool stuff, which is such a bummer, dude. It makes it like less cool. It's like the opposite effect. I don't know. Yeah. So this was already a problem that we already saw in Boba. They obviously didn't learn from their lesson. I don't think they wanted to. I think it's literally just going to be copy paste, cookie cutter stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I like there's people that are eating it up. And like, I mean, that, like, I'm not here to
Yeah.
say like don't do that. If you're happy with it, that's good for you. Like, and I'm not here to tell you you're wrong, but they know that people will eat it up, so they're just like,
Mhm.
why even, we have this green money printing machine. Let's just keep using that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like I don't understand how looking at the like, and this is from somebody who has no experience in narrative writing. I don't understand how you look at how season 2 ends and think the best course of action for the literal next episode is how to have is to have all of that literally 100% completely reverted, or be 100% useless. I don't get it.
Should we go into it? The 100% thing. How
Yeah, yeah,
literally,
yeah.
literally, we're maybe there's a clip
There
to
are some
insert.
clips. Yeah,
We literally, I think Evan started. He was like, "Dude, like nothing matters from season 2." And we literally sat down. We could not find one thing, one important thing from season 2 that did not get reversed in season 3.
yeah,
So I'll start rattling them off. So
yeah,
first one, Grogu, a huge story moment. He needs to learn to become a Jedi. Mando's been growing to love him like he hasn't literally anyone else since probably his parents, right? Huge. They're separate. It's the whole reason he takes off his helmet. He's crying in front of all people. This hard killer bounty hunter brought to his knees over this little guy, Grogu, right? Huge moment. Actually, they're just going to go right back. Who cares? That
yep,
doesn't matter. That's one. Two, the helmet thing. He takes off his helmet in a moment like Evan hit already, in a moment of saying, like, I don't care about my religion. This could be cult. I care more about this child, right? I'm more dedicated to him. I want to see him face to face. I don't care if this makes me an apostate or whatever. This is more. This is larger. Turns out it's not more. It's not larger. Reversed right away. He goes right back to get redeemed. And it happens really quickly in season 3. It doesn't even last long. It just happens almost immediately. For Moff Gideon, he gets captured. It's this huge thing. Luke Skywalker has to come in to capture him, right? That's huge, right? He's a hard dude to capture. It took Luke Skywalker, the person who killed Darth Vader, the Emperor, the entire Empire, and they're bringing him in. It's a huge moment. Go check out the reaction because it was huge. That's such a Star Wars moment. Turns out Luke Skywalker doesn't matter. Reverse that stuff. Moff Gideon's back, and then he's easily killed by just a bunch of Mandalorians, which I don't know if I want to say easily. I guess maybe it's hard. Mandalorians are also tough, but it undoes a huge story point from season 2. IG-11, season 1. Huge sacrifice. He's helping Mando to survive and to take care of Grogu. Mando takes off his helmet in front of IG-11 too. That's another big point. Even though he's a droid, he trusts him that much. Saves his life, sacrifices himself for him. Now, Din is like more open. He's less discriminatory towards droids. He's like seeing the world from a new perspective. He's growing, right? In the same way he would have been growing for his religion, for the Children of the Watch. He's open to new ideas. He's like, whoa, maybe droids aren't so bad too. And this huge sacrifice was a really big part of that. Nope. IG-11 is brought back not once, not twice, 3 times. 3 times he's brought back. Also, Din just hates droids again. He doesn't want R4 at all, which is like the most helpful droid of them all, besides maybe protocol droids. Astromechs are like literally there to help you fly ships. And he's like, oh, I don't trust them. For why? I don't know. The writers probably don't. And then, yeah, and also the super battle droids, which is maybe I could see that, but the R4 problem is larger. It just doesn't make sense. Anything else? Oh, the Darksaber.
Yep.
The Darksaber. Huge problem, huge conflict. Din won it over Moff Gideon in battle. It's this huge point of pride. The Mandalorians aren't just going to take over him, handing it to her. It really means something important. It's like I don't even know something that would represent. It's a point of strength. There probably isn't anything in culture to represent that, like earning something, taking it, right? Won in battle and blood. It's supposed to bring the Mandalorians together, and it does. And this is a huge conflict because Din and Bo-Katan are friends. They don't want to fight. They want to bring people together, but Din's not up for this role, right? And it's a huge point of conflict. Turns out, no, it's not. Some spider droid beats Din, and then Bo. It's just a whole technicality thing, and then she gets it.
Yeah.
And
And they
okay,
do that
okay,
in
I
like
guess she
5
used
minutes
that.
at the end of a random episode.
And they just shoehorn that in, and then also it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. It's broken. It's gone forever. A historic weapon. I'm pretty sure. Could be wrong. Is the darksaber older than lightsabers? I think it might be. It's very old. That's the fact.
It's very, very old.
And now, God, we never needed it. Who cares? It did that whole point. Anything else? I'm sure I'm missing more. But the fact that I can just boom, 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 boom,
Yeah,
of
it's
points that are reversed, that's crazy. That's crazy. It's almost like if you told me that at the end of season 2, I'd be like, yeah, that's a funny joke, but it's unbelievable. That would never really happen.
Yeah, and it's like some of those, like, you can argue are natural progressions for the story, and it makes sense for them to happen. The problem is they didn't do them well at all. Like the stuff with Bo-Katan and the Darksaber, like literally they decided that 40 minutes of Jack Black and Lizzo was more important than telling this important part of the plot, and then they're like, oh crap, we have to do something with the plot this episode. So in the last 2 minutes, they go have a fight, and Din is just like, I don't want it. Here you go. What? What?
It's absurd.
That's what
it's comical.
Did? Yeah, like why was that not built up throughout the whole season? If that's the route you were going to go, they probably could have made that work a lot better if they had done it the whole season and they had developed that conversation between the two of them or whatever. Because it's an interesting situation because Din does not want it at all. He doesn't care about it, but he's forced to have it. Bo-Katan wants it. She arguably needs it for Mandalore, and she can't get it. That's a really interesting, you know, thing. And like you get the way you could have those characters talk about it or have a conversation about it. It's just thrown out the window because he's just like, there you go. Oh, remember that thing we did? Like, why was that not hinted at more? And why was that not a talking point throughout the season? Like, it's just so weird. And you know, here this is where I'll throw in us talking about that like live as we're realizing it. It was pretty funny. We were just like,
it's insane.
What? Nothing mattered.
Nothing.
Yeah. Here's that clip. And like learning to be his own person or whatever and leaving it behind, gone. All of the development he had about like learning to trust droids again because of everything that happened with IG-11, gone.
Yeah. Oh, IG-11 dying, gone.
Moff Gideon back. Grogu back.
Darksaber,
none of it mattered. None of the season 2 finale mattered at all.
The Mandalorian covert getting destroyed at the end of season 1 doesn't
They're
matter.
back. None of it mattered. Dude, none of it mattered. Season 1 or 2.
We gotta write that down, dude. Wow.
None of it mattered.
Literally nothing. The only thing that mattered is that Cara Dune, whatever her actress name. The only thing that matters is she said whack stuff about COVID.
Yeah,
that's it. That's the only thing that mattered, and that didn't even have to do with the show. That had to do with the real life.
And like, what was her role going to be anyway? She was just going to be a marshal, and they were going to make a movie about her. Like, it wasn't even going to be Mando.
Oh,
literally nothing. All of Din
Djarin's
character developments from season 1 and 2 gone. Grogu going to be a Jedi gone. The Darksaber storyline gone. Moff Gideon being captured gone. He's just back. There's no development of that. He just is back.
Yeah. Somehow Moff Gideon escaped.
And none of it mattered.
That's crazy. The only lasting effect that Disney made, it wasn't even Disney. It was, what's her? I forget her name. She got fired. That's Gina the only lasting effect. Yeah.
Wow, dude, none of it mattered.
Disney stinks, man. They stink.
That's what I've been saying about season 3.
Like, lasting effects at all.
None. Zero lasting effects. If anything, they went backwards.
Yeah.
They literally... Yeah. That's worse than doing nothing. They went backwards. Because Din Djarin is like the same dude he was in the beginning of season 1, except he has Grogu.
I would argue he's less the person he was in season 1, man.
Yeah, he just stands there. He just doesn't do anything.
Yeah, season 1, I saw him killing people, bro. I saw him lighting dudes on fire. This season, he lights like... Maybe he saves like his friends, but that's like
captured.
That's any superhero.
It literally,
Dang.
none of it mattered. IG-11's death didn't matter because now he's IG-12.
It's like think of any storyline, like any thread, doesn't matter. Pershing doesn't really matter. He's lobotomized.
Yeah, and they only did that to show that the other lady was still working for Gideon, which I feel like
And
you
Gideon's
could have
right
done
back
that.
where he started.
Yeah. None of
I'm
it
trying to think,
mattered.
like literally any storyline you could think of. Oh, the Bounty Hunters Guild, like Grief Karga, like the town getting destroyed, doesn't matter.
Yeah,
He's
he's just
the
like the mayor now. And
grand
it's just
whatever now.
perfectly
Yeah, the
new.
mayor. Yep.
The High Magistrate. Sorry, got it wrong.
High Magistrate. Yeah, that is what they say. That's pretty funny how he says that, though.
Yeah. Yeah, Grief Karga, like, he's a completely different dude now, too.
These days. Yeah. Yeah, remember the vibe of season 1?
Dude, I'm telling
so
you,
much more edgy.
season 1 hit so hard. 3 is just not it,
People
bro.
were calling it a space western. That's what it felt like.
This is not a space western anymore. Even, like, the camera work is so lame now, too.
Cool
just,
stuff.
like normal... Just, like, shots.
It doesn't feel, yeah.
None of the, like, Ludwig, however you say, he's not even doing the music this season.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
do you think? Let me throw this out here. So, not to say that season 1 was little budget, but it wasn't proven yet, right? It was a new project, so they kind of had to earn their spot, right? They kind of had to make it cinematic. They had to do those cool shots. They had to have that edginess to it. Now, this is arguably like a top 10 most popular show like out there,
right?
Especially because it's Star Wars. Now it's like they don't really like people are going to tune in.
Throw billions
really
at it. Put everything in it that you can. I was worried about this because the signs were there in season 2, and they had Ahsoka and they had Bo-Katan, and they had all this.
They just start throwing stuff at it. Yeah,
now it's like just way over the top. Mm-hmm. There's rumors that like Pedro Pascal like doesn't want to do it anymore. Like obviously there's not significant sources on that, but there's not even like he wants to be out.
Yeah, and not even to like call him like a prima donna or something like, you're too cool for it.
Absolutely
like,
not.
It's not the same character now.
No. Also, he doesn't do anything. He just does voiceover work. You never see his face. He's not in the suit this season at all. Like,
well, I would argue that maybe that's not because season 1, dude. Like, you don't really see his face, but there was like a clear like. If I was an artist, like if I was an actor, that would appetize me. Like I'd be like, ooh, like how can I explore this character? There's nothing to explore in season 3. He just shows up.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't seem rewarding as an actor anymore. So I could see him saying that.
Yeah.
I could definitely see him saying that.
Literally nothing mattered. That finale.
Every single story.
Dude, our reactions for all of that, like other than like the Luke Skywalker stuff, which is also doesn't matter now.
Yeah.
None of that mattered. Every time I watch that video now, I'm going to be sitting there thinking like,
none of
wow,
the Jedi stuff matters
none of this
anymore.
actually meant anything.
Wow. That's big to reflect on. I wasn't thinking that. I was like, yeah, season 3, not a lot's happening, but at least it's fun. But stuff is happening. It's happening in reverse. We're undoing everything. So at least we have Ahsoka to look forward to, baby.
Jack Black was in an episode, guys.
Oh,
you remember Jack Black?
I
He's
love
so
Jack
cool.
Black.
See, part of me wishes
That's
he wasn't even in
crazy.
it because, like, then he didn't have to.
No,
be, like,
I wish he wasn't in it, dude. I wish they just made a good show.
None of it mattered.
Or you could put him in there, but like, because they had Bill Burr, but Bill Burr had that. Remember that one episode at the compound?
Yeah,
that was like one of the best episodes.
Yeah, for
He's
sure.
a real character. They could have done that.
Even Boba Fett was cooler in Mando than he was in his own show.
Yeah,
yeah, he came down immediately. He was like crushing stormtroopers' heads with his like
cracking skull.
And he was only there because of like the debt that he owed through like the like the not the way, but like a way, I guess.
Yeah, not the way, but yeah, like a Mandalorian code of honor.
Yeah, so that also went nowhere with his show. None of it mattered.
Nothing
None
matters.
of it mattered.
Nothing matters.
Wow.
Wow.
How is Andor the best of all of these? How? It makes zero sense still. I still don't get it. Still makes zero sense to me how that is the good one, like the best one.
Oh man, I just had a thought again. Andor, right? Season 1, unproven show, a little bit ambitious, really good. Season 2, maybe they get a little more money. Maybe they bring in more of the Rogue One cast to get bigger. By season 3, who knows, man?
I think it's just 2, though. I'm pretty sure it's just 2.
It's
Andor.
2 and done?
I'm pretty sure. I think I saw that somewhere, but I don't remember. And also, they already... the reason I don't feel that as much is because they already confirmed the second season before the first one even came out and was finished.
Maybe they have
they have a 2-season arc that they're sticking with.
I hope so.
And I feel like it's too late to go back and, oh crap, we got a bunch of... And Andor didn't even actually perform that well, so...
Okay.
Good.
Good.
What it is.
Crazy that.
I don't want to say good, but like kind of also good.
Yeah, keep my shows good.
Keep it low key. All right, welcome back. Hope you liked that clip. That reaction, I guess, a micro reaction in the review. But I wanted to talk about one of those specifically, and that's IG-11.
Oh man,
talk about and this is not unique to this show or even to Disney, but bringing back a character that was already dead and then ruining their original death or making it not as valuable. IG-11, that was a great moment in season 1. This droid character that we've come to see as a friend, especially to Din, who through his connection with IG-11 is able to get over some other feelings he had towards droids in general. And then he saves him, and then he makes a sacrifice to save Grogu. It's a great moment.
Mm-hmm.
And then, season 3, he's dead. Okay, he's dead. There's a statue of him made out of his body.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of using what he learned from IG-11 and finding another droid that he knows would be a good companion because he trusts certain types of droids now, he says... No, give me the old one. Tear down the statue.
Tears down the statue.
Give me that one again. They bring it back to life. It doesn't work. He tries to murder everyone. That should have been the sign that this is not supposed to happen. Because first of all, you've already desecrated it or whatever. Because he basically came back as a zombie. I know it's programming. It's not really he's undead, but in the story sense, a zombie. Because he comes back and he's angry and he wants to kill everybody. So that should have been your first sign. And then I thought that was it because they didn't go back to it all. He's like, hey, can you get a part? And then he just doesn't. And then I guess I don't really.
I thought that was it too. I thought it was just okay. We can't use him, and I was like, good.
And
it was bad, but good.
And then he comes back again as IG-12. First of all, how
Grogu mecha?
It's not a droid anymore. It's a mech. So how is it IG-12? Because it's not conscious, right? It's Grogu doing it all.
No.
So
it says yes and no though. It has dialogue, I guess.
Yeah, but that's Grogu pressing.
I know.
So it's him controlling it. And they didn't even do anything interesting with that. He came in to save Din one time from 2 stormtroopers or 2 mando things or whatever. But okay, and then he blows up. It's oh no, it's gone. Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So meaning that his body is also gone.
Yeah.
And then he comes back a third time with no explanation.
Zombie, mech, security. 4 times they desecrated this man.
What IG droid even is that? It's not IG-11.
They
call him IG-11, and it sounds like IG-11. The rest of his body blew up, and all that was left was legs and arms. So all of that, and then the fact that he's alive just
Mhm.
like ruins the moment that he has in season 1. Every time I see that now, it's going to be worse because of season 3. I'm going to be like, well, what's the big deal? He's going to be back in a couple years. There's very few times, I've said this before, but there's very few times where that has worked. One of them is in Star Wars with Darth Maul. That's one of the few times I can think of where bringing back a character that was already dead has actually benefited that character significantly.
Mhm.
Whenever I think of Maul, like 9 times out of 10, it's Clone Wars Maul because that's the Maul that is
Yeah.
a real character. He's cool in the Phantom Menace, but he's not a character. He's just like a
Mhm.
guy, and he's just there.
Mhm.
That's one of the few times I can think of. But this, like, and this isn't even the first time that modern Star Wars has done it. Look at the Grand Inquisitor. He dies in Obi-Wan Kenobi, which
Yeah.
is weird because most fans already know that he dies in season 1 of Rebels, and then B, you're forced to bring him back to life, and it's like a stupid, like
I forgot
biology
about that.
technicality where what's the planet? Utapauans have 2 stomachs or whatever. So now when you see the Grand Inquisitor death in season 1, you're like, well, he's died before, so why do I care? It's such
Mhm.
a stupid, like, I don't. Cad Bane, like, I know
Uh,
he didn't die before, but they brought him back to do absolutely nothing, and then he dies, and like, are they gonna bring? They might bring him back, I guess, but now that is gonna be even weaker because it's like, well, you already
they
killed
already
him.
brought him back.
You already
Yeah.
brought him back, wasted him, and killed him. So all of those, like,
I forgot about that.
yeah, I don't know, like, especially with IG-11, like, that really bothered me.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I'll say too for the season one aspect, that was like one of like the defining like things of the conclusion. The
yeah,
finale is that huge sacrifice. He helps him escape, like Moff Gideon's troops and everything. Like that was a big moment. It's one of the things like I think back on, like, oh, that's awesome. Remember that? But now I have to think back on it, keeping this in mind. Like it's retroactively making season one worse, which is like by far the better season than this. Like why, dude? Like, what are you picking on him for? Like, leave him alone,
leave him
season
alone.
three.
He had
Like,
a nice
yeah.
statue. Why couldn't that be it?
Even the statue thing is OD, man. Like, they're gonna use his body and just mold it into a statue. That's kind of whack, but whatever. It's there. And then they try to bring him back. It's a zombie. Like, all right, you're desecrating a grave almost, but at least it's done there. But nope. It's like, what could be cool for Grogu? Let's have him in a big mech suit. Oh, let's make it IG-11. Remember him, guys? Remember? It's crazy. It's
It
crazy.
is
And like
crazy.
in no way, I think you're right to signal this one out because in no way, in zero ways, does this like the story does not match at all. IG-11 story, like this certainly was not planned. Certainly. You're telling me you're going to have him have that big sacrifice, and then you're thinking to yourself, oh, actually, in 2 seasons, we're going to have him come back and be a little mech droid.
Yeah,
No, absolutely not.
it's
Certainly, this was not
ridiculous.
planned. And more than that, certainly, it retroactively makes the original plan worse.
Yeah.
So, ugh,
Like, obviously, I don't know. I'm assuming there's gonna be a 4th season, but I don't know what it's gonna be
yeah.
about. But like, now he's just the marshal on Navarro. So how often are we
Mhm.
even gonna be interacting with him?
Yeah, I
That'd be like
know.
if they brought Maul back for 1 episode and then, like, we never see him again. And you're like, what was the point of that? Why did they do that? Now, obviously,
Yeah.
that's like speculation, but I don't assume the season 4 is going to be heavily focused on IG-11 as Dune of Navarro, as not Dune, as like
You never know.
the
Marshall.
Marshal of Navarro. Like, I don't like, I don't see the point. I don't see it. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But enough on IG-11.
Yeah.
Us, unlike the show, are going to kill him here and leave him be. Um, let's see. There was another thing that I didn't like, and it's like the structure of the season, the structure of the episodes
Yeah.
made absolutely no sense to me. Even Bad Batch wasn't this bad, I feel like. And I feel like part of that is because they have double the episodes, so it kind of just
Mhm.
flattens out as the season goes on. But like the switches from super fast paced to super slow to what they're actually doing in the plot, it was really weird. Like, it was advertised that the season was going to be about him going back to Mandalore, to be redeemed, which I was already like iffy about, but I was like, okay, if they make it cool and it's like a journey for his character and maybe he doesn't redeem himself at the end of the season, he decides to move on or something like that. That's what we were speculating. If episode 1, he's redeemed. Like, or 2, 1 or 2,
Yep.
like it's almost immediate. I think it was 2 where he actually got redeemed.
Yeah,
But
2
1
is the
where
actual one.
they were on Mandalore. He was on Mandalore in the first one, I think.
Yeah.
So, and if you watch back to those reactions, we're like, oh, okay, so that's cool. If they're doing that this fast, that means they have to have something else brewing that they really want to
We
get
did
to.
say that.
We said that for the first like 2 episodes.
And we realized.
That was not the case. But like, and then the Jack Black episode, like, what was the point of that? Like, it didn't do anything for any of the characters. We've said
Jack
this
Black.
before too, but like, filler is not like generally bad. Filler is there's bad filler. There's good filler and bad filler. Good filler adds to the characters. I'd argue a lot of the filler episodes in Rebels are good filler because a lot of them are about the relationships between the characters of the Ghost crew. And like, sure, you can take those out, but then it makes later moments in the season where they're sharing moments together, it makes them a little bit weaker because you don't have that connection that they had when they went to do that adventure. That I would argue is good filler. This one did nothing for any of the characters except for at the very end when it stopped being filler and it started being plot for 3 minutes. So that was a weird one. The quote unquote Andor episode with Gideon's Imperial spy and Dr. Pershing, I think, like, writing wise, that's probably one of the better episodes of the season, and that's probably why we linked it to Andor so much. So there's that, but then you look at it with the whole of the season, and it's like, what was the point of that? The follow-up to that was literally her, Aaliyah, I don't remember her name, but the whole follow-up with that was just her talking to Gideon in a hologram for 5 seconds. Why did you set it up so much? Why did they spend a whole episode on that if
entire episode
that was like the end of the, like, she melts Pershing's brain and then we're done.
Yeah.
What? Why was this so heavily featured if there's going to be little to no payoff with that? Because it, like, I don't feel like it did much to tease Gideon at all. It was just like, oh, is she good or bad? Is she like New Republic, but is she also like kind of a dictator or something? Or there wasn't very much tease for Gideon, and that whole episode apparently in retrospect was set up for Gideon, which is weird because they didn't bring him in until the second to last episode anyway. So, like, I think that could have been one of the best episodes of the season if they actually followed up with that storyline and continued it in a meaningful way. But because they didn't, it ends up being one of the worst ones because it just feels like it has no place there, because she turned out to be such a minor character that you're like, well, why did you do that? Like, she didn't end up being a major character in it all. She told Gideon, like, hey, they're doing some crazy stuff here, and he was like, all right, I'm coming in now to handle it. Well, like, that's the end of that. That's the whole reason you made that episode. Like, I just don't like. And there was a couple other ones that I don't even remember, which is weird because there's only 8, so there shouldn't be episodes where that you just completely forget. There was a dragon one, which I guess was cool, but also didn't really do anything. I mean, I guess it furthered like Din and Paz's relationship, which also ultimately didn't end up mattering because, like, he doesn't seem to care that he died at all. But you know what I mean? Like, the structure of this, like, it's weird. Yeah. It threw me off every time we would jump to a new thing, and it didn't feel like episodical. It felt like they were just random things chopped up in it. You know what I mean? I don't know.
I would argue more than that. I think it killed the pacing too.
Yeah.
More than that, like, more than thematic wise, just how fast it was moving along. We go from, traveling from planet to planet, going to Mandalore, which has been cursed for years, getting redeemed, stuff like that, fighting guards and stuff, to, how's Pershing doing with his transition to his new job? Let's do an entire episode on that. Maybe he'll go on a date.
Yeah, maybe.
What? what? And then immediately after, oh no, we're going to go back to do Mandalorian stuff. They're going to fight dragons. They're going to save kids from dragon nests. They're going to do all this stuff. And then what's Jack Black doing in Star Wars? Let's do an episode on that. Let's make it a murder mystery, maybe. What? What? And then immediately after, oh, actually, we're going to have all the Mandalorians get together. We're going to have a huge battle. It's going to be space battle, land battle, everything. It's going to be on Mandalorian. They're going to get their, like, what? I want to make an analogy because I like my analogies. It's like a roller coaster, dude. I think a lot of people say, oh, that was a roller coaster. And roller coasters are fun, right? And I think sometimes you can make the pacing really fast or accelerated and have slow parts and then like accelerate. And I think it works well. But you can also have roller coasters that can literally kill you if there's too much G-force in it, or if it's transitioning too fast between fast and slow. And I think this season 3 is teetering on the side of a dangerous roller coaster. It's too jarring. The changes are too quick, too disconnected. It's just to the point where you're not like, oh my goodness, this was a break. I needed a break, right? This was a nice restful episode. I can't wait to see what happens next. It's the opposite. It's like, wait, I was just having fun. We were just theorizing, oh, what's coming next if they're already getting redeemed? And now we're doing nothing? I'm seeing purging? Yeah. What? Oh, okay, I guess we're doing a slow season. Sorry, I thought something else. And the very next episode, immediately 100 pedal to the metal.
Abandons all
what?
of that.
I just slowed down. What do you mean I was just chilling. We were just doing purging stuff. What do you mean? Like, it was crazy. And that was a problem in Bad Batch. And check that out. We talked about that a lot. But I think you got it right. I wasn't sure why. I felt like it was more a problem here. But it's because there's 8 episodes, right? And if 2 of them have problems, major problems, that's a quarter of the season.
Yeah.
A quarter. That's significant, dude. That is a C grade. 75%
of the
that's
episode.
Crazy. You can't do that. We can't have that. And I wasn't sure like why I felt so jarred, but you got it right. It's because this is a short season, dude. There shouldn't be episodes like that. And like you said, there shouldn't be episodes we forget. I think that speaks to what we were saying earlier. They feel so cookie cutter. But it's just like, oh yeah, whatever. The episode happened. I know I said that about the finale. I was like, I'm not going to be thinking about this throughout the day. I'm not going to care. Like, nope. It happened. Like, that's it. And you brought it up. It seems like the characters don't even care what happens, dude. Paz Vizsla sacrifices himself for the entire Mandalorian squad. He's a hero. He's a child at home. And he's like, this is more important. Not once was he ever mentioned in the finale, the episode after. Not once about his sacrifice, the hero that he is, the hero's death, the warrior death that he had. Nothing. And even though it was like a huge wrap-up episode where we were doing stuff like that, didn't happen. It seems like even the characters, they don't care. They're just there to do cool stuff. Cookie cutter, which is crazy. This shouldn't be happening in 8 episode long seasons.
Exactly. It's just it's kind of ridiculous. And yeah. Another thing with that, specifically that finale episode, like the wrap up for that was so weird. It was like 2 minutes long. They get to Mandalore. They like the Forge, and they're Mandalorians. And that kid gets his thing, and then finally adopts Grogu, even though he's adopted him since like the 3rd episode of the show ever. Yeah. And then he goes to Navarro and he gets a hut, and then like one of my friends pointed it out. It's like the ending of a Looney Tunes episode where the circle comes in, boop, boop. Yeah, that's all, folks. Like, what? It's weird. It's even weirder because we know it's not the end, because there's going to be a movie about this Mandoverse, which I never wanted there to be a Mandoverse in the first place, but there's going to be a movie about that, which, you know, we'll see how that goes, obviously, but I'm pretty sure they're probably going to make a 4th season of this show too. So like, why the series finale vibe? Not only was that not good because it was like 2 minutes long, but why is it there if this is not the end of the series? If it's not the end of the character? Like, I don't get it. Like, that was so weird to me, because I was like, okay, everything is wrapped up nice, neat, in a bow, except there was no like no interactions between any of the characters. Like they just went about their days and didn't just like left everybody. He's like, oh, I'm gonna live in my hut again. See, like that's another thing. If he's so invested in being back with this group of Mandalorians, why didn't he stay there on Mandalore with them? Why is he on the other side of the planet living in that hut? Or not even the planet because they're not on Navarro
Different
anymore.
planet. Different planet.
They're on Mandalore now. So if he cared enough to go back to Mandalore to redeem himself, why is he not there living with his people again? It's because the real Din doesn't want that, but for some reason the show made him want that to start, and at the end he's on Navarro and he's like living by himself again, and he's separated from that. So it's like none of it was satisfying to me at all. The ending, like it was just like okay, but we'll probably see him again. So why are you doing this? And even if we weren't seeing him again, the ending was so rushed and not what this character deserved. You know, it was really odd.
I don't think there's going to be season 4. I don't. I think
I hope there's not.
I think this was the finale of the entire series, which is absurd, but I don't know. I guess it is. Yeah, they wrapped it up. They have him in this kind of limbo space where they can do whatever they want with him. He's not a real character. He doesn't have a real story now. So they just have him here to put in other medias. And I think that's the best in-between place they could have put him. There's no after-credit scene, which not necessarily is a Star Wars thing, but for all the other shows there was after-credit scenes because they were pointing us towards the future of the series. For season 2, I think it was the Book of Boba from season 2 Mandalore. So it was pointing us in other directions. We know Ahsoka show's coming out. We know that Djarin knows Ahsoka, so it easily could have pointed us that way. Maybe a little teaser for that, but it didn't. It chose not to, and I think they're done. Mandalorian is done, which is crazy to me. I would have thought this would have been the flagship show. I thought this would be going on for years, honestly. With the way season 1 and 2 were going, it felt like we were just getting started. And now we're done. We're done. I don't think Mando's gone.
Absolutely
I think
not.
he's definitely coming back.
Cow.
But exactly. I think he's going to be a caricature of himself, even more so than season 3 Djarin. They're just going to, again, pick him up. Oh, Mando, we got a call. Go do this. Just so they can have him in other medias.
Yeah.
And now, like, I think, too, from, like, a Disney perspective, now it's, like, even better. Now they can make more shows than just The Mandalorian and have him in all of them. The Mandoverse, which is the worst thing I could possibly think of to do.
Can you imagine that in season 1
man.
when the show started, it being like a big universe of shows, like a bit like it's like the CW, like the Arrowverse. Can you imagine? Like I can't even like wrap my head around that with season 1.
Season 1 was so different.
Yeah, but I mean, and it's not even like this was naturally was going to happen because they're out of ideas. They could have done a lot of cool stuff. I still think Grogu should not have been in the season at all, except for maybe like the final episode or 2. We should have been discovering Din's character now that he's alone again, now that he's on his own, apart from the Mandalorians. And if you want to throw in a B plot in there, you can throw in Bo-Katan doing her stuff too, but that's like the minor plot. That could have been a really interesting season, especially more of Din's character, and especially now he's had Grogu all this time. Now he doesn't know what to do without him. He tries to go back to how he did things before, but it doesn't feel the same. Like he goes to talk to Grogu or give him something, and then he's not there, and he's just like silent, and then he keeps going. See stuff like that. Like that would have been awesome. So it's not even like there wasn't anything they could do. There are things he could do. And if you want to bring him back at the very end, sure. I mean, I still think it's more interesting if he stays away, but, if you want to bring him back at the end to have that reunion scene, and then you can get him back in the marketing and all that, I totally get it. But at least, like, have him be gone for any time at all. If you subtract Book of Boba Fett from this, which I'm going to because it's literally a different show, there's no time between that. He leaves season 2, everyone's sad and crying. And then he's literally
right
back
away.
at the start of the third. Imagine if you don't watch all the things and you just watch Mando. How confusing that must be if you're coming in and you're just like, what? I have
He's
to, and
right
then you look
back.
at him, I have to watch the Boba Fett show, and I don't really care about Boba Fett because, whatever, because it's just,
Hmm.
but that is still a terrible decision. I'll stand by that. And I think it's one of the big reasons that this season turned out the way it did.
Hmm.
Because, like, why did they do that?
Hmm.
Why did it? Those would have been two pretty good episodes of Mando, honestly. If they, I still think they should go a different direction with the story. But if they wanted to have at least the one episode where he's missing, they could have done that as the pilot for this season. I don't know. I don't know. But like,
It's
yeah.
yeah. I'm gonna say this. It's an immature choice to bring Grogu back. Immature.
Yes.
Um, One of my favorite shows before it got popular, Game of Thrones. That kind of blew it in the last two seasons. But one of their biggest things was they weren't afraid to kill off characters. Their story had lasting consequences. Another one of my favorite shows, Breaking Bad. I can't tell you one character who came back from the dead because they didn't. The show had lasting consequences. The things that mattered week in and week out mattered. Sopranos, people die. And I get like those are like more heavy stories, but those are the stories that people still talk about to this day
Hmm.
because they last. Consequences are consequences. And Grogu didn't even die. He's doing the right thing. He's going to get Jedi training. He's back with his people, the Jedi. And it was kind of a point for this show to, buckle up, giddy up, and say, we're a mature show. We're a real show. And by mature, I don't mean like for older audiences. It just means they're tackling real themes and having a real story. We're not just doing cool stuff. We're actually going to bunker down. We're going to get rid of one of our favorite characters for a season, and we're going to explore Mando, right? And we're going to make him an even better character. And it was a like that's I remember the finale of season two. Like it's so exciting, it's so fun to think like, oh my goodness, Star Wars is going to have a show that people are going to talk about for years and years and years, just like Sopranos, Breaking Bad, Game of Thrones. I can't wait. I can't wait to see what happens next. Nope, they're not. They're not. I guarantee you, I'm going to forget everything about season three, besides the major big battles, which is just a talking point. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember when they took back Mandalorian.
Yeah, that
Why?
was
Like that
cool.
has
Like,
nothing lasting, right? They made the choice to. They're an immature show, and like that's cool, I guess, but it just stinks when it's building up. It's at that moment, and it's like literally the moment where they can decide. Because Grogu, man, that dude prints money, right? And this is the easy choice to just bring him back, give him a cool mecha suit, have him do cool stuff, and we get more money.
yep.
But they could have made that choice to be like, we're going to be a mature, a deeper show than that. We're going to explore better stories than that. And they didn't. And I think it's
They
that's
didn't.
the most frustrating point is that it's all right there. It's right there to just seize. But nope, we're going to do cool Bo Katan stuff, throw Grogu and IG-11, have him do, I don't know, say no on a dog thing, like
Yeah.
one of those dog buttons.
Like the dog from Up, just with the,
Yeah,
with the collar.
it stinks, man. Because I season one for sure. I was telling all my friends, I'm like, dude, this is the next thing. It's gonna be awesome. You like Game of Thrones? You're gonna like this. It's Star Wars too, and we're obviously Star Wars fans. So to see an awesome show in the Star Wars universe is like breath of fresh air. It's like, let's go, and it's not. Season three, they can make 8 more seasons of it. I don't think there's like it's just too far gone. I think
Yeah.
I think it's over too, but they ruined it, man. They ruined it. I
Yep.
think
It. If you
stinks.
would have told
Stinks.
me like 3 or 4 years ago that the show that I would be most excited about in Star Wars is a show about that one random guy in Rogue One,
Cassian
I would have
Andor.
smacked you. Like what? Like
That
what are you
doesn't
talking
make
about?
sense.
That we
Yeah.
have like all these great things coming, and we have Mandalorian, which was amazing. Like if you would have told me that you would care more about the show about the one random side guy from Rogue One, I I would have told you you're insane.
Yeah.
But that's the
Yeah.
truth. I'm
Yeah.
really nervous for the Ahsoka show. which is
I was
hurting my
gonna
excitement.
say.
The only one that I'm confident
bring
in
that up.
being good is Andor,
Oh,
which is
man.
ridiculous. Like, no offense to Andor, it's a great show, but like,
Sleeper
that's
pick,
not
man.
sleep. That was our sleeper, but that's not the character you think of when you think of Star Wars.
Oh,
And
no.
that's the show that I'm most excited for. And I think when all of this is said and done, it's going to end up being the best of all of the shows, which is
Isn't that
kind of
crazy to
crazy.
say?
It is crazy. Because, like,
Yeah.
I think season 3 takes Mandalorian down that much more.
I think it seriously does. Seriously.
It really hurts it. But
I'll say too, dude, 2 years ago or 3, 4, Obi-Wan show, dude. You tell me that. That's enough to keep me up at night, dude. Like a little kid on Christmas. So hyped, man. So hyped. Now we have it. And now I know what it
and it
is. Now
exists.
I know what Disney Star Wars is. And now you're telling me Ahsoka show? I sleep, man. I'll wait till it's here.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
not. I'll see what it is. I'll make my judgment after. That's
yeah.
crazy, dude. That's crazy thing to say about Star Wars.
I'll believe it when I see it, type of thing. Which
exactly. That's terrible,
unreal.
man.
Unreal.
It's terrible, dude.
Star Wars trailers used to get people so like, oh my god, oh sweet Jesus.
Do you remember when episode 7? Yeah, 7. The trailer
Dude,
for
that
came
trailer
out.
blew up like hundreds of millions of views. Like, ridiculous, dude.
I was talking about that stuff like for so long. Even Mandalorian, dude. Like talk like, oh my goodness,
when they
this is
brought back
happening.
when they brought back Clone Wars and we got that first teaser with all the helmets and then they all explode and then you just hear like comm chatter in the background and then it's back. That nothing has replicated that since. I don't think.
That's the magic of Star Wars, man. It has that power. It has that power, and they're just throwing it away. They're throwing it away, and it stinks, man. I think they already did with Marvel. Marvel is huge. It's probably the biggest movie franchise ever. But I still don't think it's, to me at least, and to a lot of people, I don't think it's the same as Star Wars. Like, I think Star Wars has that little bit more of that, just like, there's something about it special. And Marvel is down in the gutter. And I don't think Star Wars is that bad. I think Marvel's really bad. There's no one twerking in Star Wars yet, like She-Hulk did. Thank the Lord. But it's quickly approaching, dude. It's quickly approaching, I think. And Ahsoka, I don't know. I guess we'll see, which is crazy. You tell me 3 years ago, Ahsoka show, I'm staying up at night thinking about what's going to happen, thinking about who's going to be in it. But, yeah, it stinks, man. That's a bummer.
I think is why the Mando magic is gone.
It's gone.
It's gone.
It's gone.
Gone. Rapid fire good things. Looks cool. Action. Armor stuff is cool. Bo-Katan's wig is slightly better. I was gonna say acting, but then I realized that Pedro Pascal is actually voicing and not totally acting because he's just voice acting this season because he was filming other better things. It's the general things that should be good, and if they're not, you have a problem type of stuff. I mean, arguably, if the show is not good, that too is a problem. But I just mean on a lower like production basis, you know. But like even the music was weaker because no offense to whoever did it, but Ludwig is not the main composer. I think for this season, I think it's somebody else completely other than the theme song. So I didn't really remember any of the music honestly, other than the main theme. Which probably has to do with the fact that I didn't really remember the season that well either. But
I think that's completely 100%. They go hand in hand. If they're not going to care that much about the music anymore, they're not going to care that much about the episodes anymore. It's like it's just the cookie cutter stuff, you know. Whereas again, season 1, this new type of vibe, this new music, this new composer, it's awesome. Everything's new, fresh, unique, but still having that same flavor. Whereas now it's just like we'll just reuse what we did already. So
Yeah.
I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
But I do
no,
think
that's basically
exactly.
yeah, I get
Yeah.
you. It's just sad to see.
Yeah, I do have a good thing though to say. I think it's really opened up the horizons to Mandalorians, like the storyline.
Yeah. Oh
It's
yeah,
cool
that's
seeing
true.
them, their culture and stuff. Seeing Mandalorian not first person, in
Live
live
action.
action, I guess. It is cool. It is cool. It's so fun being in Star Wars that I don't know. There's certain things you can't get wrong, like seeing lightsabers light up, hearing blaster bolts. It's really fun. I mean, it looked cool. I think like the Mandalorians in and of themselves, it made sense. Like their culture, their community is
Yeah.
fun. Seeing them united and back on Mandalore is cool. I just wish it was done more impactfully. It was savored, It's like using a really, really good cut of meat for like a hamburger. Like, no, like use it for what its potential is, Like we could have done so much more with Mandalorian culture, but it's still a good burger. You know what I mean? Like we're still getting cool stuff. It's still fun. Like I don't think this hurt me. It's just like the missing out on what I know could be is more what hurt me. So
Yeah.
I know I said it before. It's like they feel like amusement park rides. I forget. I think it's I don't know. One of the famous directors said that about Marvel movies, where you just show up, have a good time for an hour, go home. That's all. And sure, these are that. I show up, we have fun for 30, 40 minutes, but then I'm not thinking about it no more, which is a bummer, but at least it is fun. It could have been like straight up awful, and it wasn't that.
It was not awful.
So we don't want to pick on it, dunk on it. It's still fun. I probably will go back. It's going to be cool to see a huge Mandalorian battle and the jetpack action. I'll probably be rewatching these episodes, but will I be thinking about them? No, I won't.
Brain off.
I won't. Brain off, mushy, consume. That's it.
All right. Yeah, I agree. I think that's probably a good place to end it there. Yeah, let us know your thoughts on the season, I guess. Did you like it more than we did? Did you like it less than we did somehow?
That's okay. I give it a 6.5 out of 10.
6.5. I'll go 5.5. Go 5.5. Yeah, make sure you check out we have all of our reactions to the episodes if you want to see those for all of season 3. Those will be linked down below. Previous episode of the podcast was about the Bad Batch season 2, so you can go check that out as well, as long as all the reactions to seasons 1 and 2 of that. We have Andor recently too on the channel, so go check out all of that. Thank you guys for watching. That's it for season 3 of The Mandalorian, and we will see you next time.